Okay, we will keep these Rogers videos going. Condition report 22, 16, 13, 12. I just took the top tension rods off of the 13. And much like the ones from the 12, these all do look like Rogers and are all matching. So that is good. And that kind of, just kind of square, tall, look of the heads of the top of the tension rods. Definitely reminds me and makes me feel that these are for what it's worth. And again, here's the 9x13. We'll do a quick kind of condition report of the rim. And just in general, nothing too bad. Should clean up quite nice. Little bit of pitting, but not too bad. Otherwise, overall, we'll clean up quite nice. I'll do a quick floor check here. Doesn't seem to be any wobble, which is nice. And again, I'm sure this floor is generally good and flat, but that side seems pretty great. Give me one moment. Okay. Wanted to pop off the lug at the seam. Again, this is the 13. Seam is good and tight. And no cracking underneath the lug. And so far doesn't seem like these drums are too faded, which is good. Obviously got some tape residue. And condition of the muffler functions just fine. I'll quickly mention that the collet area for the tom arm on the bass drum, on the 20-inch bass drum here, is more of a kind of a, I would generally say, I guess, like a single 60s placement. So even though this drum set came with the double Rogers arm, it does not have a center-mounted collet post. It has a single off to the side collet post for the tom. My point being, I'm imagining this 13 was added later. If it was, pieced together, at a drum shop, or they came back and got a single tom at a drum shop. We all know how that, may kind of happen sometimes. I'm also curious with the notion that this is most likely would have been a single 9x13. I'm imagining, based on where this collet nose is and where the logo is, and I only say that because if it, I stand corrected. I'm forgetting that there's another logo on the other side. And so if this would have been a 9x13 for a double tom mount, an 8x12 and then a 9x13, some of you might know more than I what configurations were common or what add-ons were common. I'm certainly noticing that there's no paper tag on the inside of this one, just to kind of jump ahead. And most certainly, too, we can see that the backing screw washers are not the star style. And again, with no paper tag, there's this, but I don't really know what that might be. Some of you might know more than I, and that's essentially right underneath the logo. The logo's on the other side of that, if that is helpful to know. And give me a quick second. Okay, I just wanted to double check. There's only one Rogers logo on the 12. And so this 9x13 has two Rogers logos for what it's worth. And again, this is the top batter side, and this edge seems to be a-okay, quite beautiful, nice and smooth, and that's just some like fuzz or paper or something. Yeah, doubt you'd be disappointed. Doesn't seem to be in bad shape at all, which is great. Okay, give me a quick moment here. Obviously, yeah, I mean, it needs to be cleaned up. Tape residue. Okay, did a quick flip. This is the resonant bottom edge. And luckily, much like the 12, not too bad, considering. And then got one kind of ding right here. I'll show that in a second. Otherwise, not too bad. Not too bad at all. And just to kind of give you a look-see, would probably still tune up pretty okay because it's still pretty sharp, which is nice. But it is what it is, as we can see. And then this is still pretty sharp, but a little bit of ding on the outside. And then again, this one is a little bit more on the outside, thankfully. And then just in general, these are pretty good. And just give me a second here. Carefully put this on the side. And just in general, same thing with the lugs. Lugs have about the same condition report. Very small amount of pitting. Overall, very, will clean up quite nice. Nothing unusual. Luckily, I this doesn't seem like it was really abused. Thankfully. I think this is more just residue that'll clean up. Trying to, obviously, big old piece of tape residue. General, scratching, nothing bad. Don't think that there's any cracking around the lugs of the wrap, which is always a big concern. And again, that 12 looked really good. Again, we'll round it back over to the seam. That's looking pretty great. Tiny bit of sorry, bad filmmaker. Okay, so more of just the reality of years of the indentation of the edge of the lug. So there's, and like I said, anyone who's like, hey, can you pop off every single lug? Sure, I would just need, a little bit more time. Always happy to talk details, so everyone's happy. So yeah, a little bit of indentation from just the pressure of the lug. And so that's how that is. So a little bit of seam raise there, but just barely. You're probably fine. It's tight and hard. You know what I mean? It's not really movable, so I'd probably just leave that. But this was more so to kind of check exactly what we're seeing here. This seems more like the pressure of the lug versus like, oh, there's cracking around all the lugs. No, not really. This collet is in much better condition, as you can see. Still some pitting, but would clean up quite nice. The one on the 12 is kind of pitted, but would probably clean up nice, and the threads like this one are good. So, these collet plate noses are probably fine. Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. And then again, just tape residue, and I'm not really seeing too much rash. So we got a couple spots here. Yeah, definitely rash. Not too bad. I think some really good polishing of the Novus, I think, would take up some of those markings of a little bit of that wear. It's very minimal, thankfully. As we all know, the Tom rash can be much, much worse. And just thanks for bearing with all the long-winded, nerdy details. And I'm just trying to see here. This actually may be more residue than rash, actually, to be very down to earth, because it doesn't feel like gouges. It feels like something, residue. So that's actually good news. And then more just dirt and residue. I think this looks like a scratch. Yes, that's a scratch. Can't really see it. You can feel it. It looks like that got just a scratch of some kind. I don't think the wrap. No, the wrap is not split or anything, but I can just see that there's a kind of a. Yeah, just a deep scratch. And just again, in general, there are. I mean, overall, the wrap's actually in really good shape considering. But there are general marks here and there. Like this one, you really can't feel. But in general, I don't think someone would be too disappointed. I don't know the difference exactly of, no tag and two logos. You know what I mean? I'm still learning a little bit about all the exact details of Roger, so you have to bear with me. And then I think that's it for the 13. And then again, top edge is good. And then we already looked at this area. But overall, not too bad. Drums should sound and tune up just fine. And I think it'll clean up quite nice too. Give me one moment.